Say, the past is the past.
I understand. Anyway, how may I help you, Commander?
Do you have a moment to talk?
I always have time for you, Commander.
What are your responsibilities?
I'll keep you notified of any messages or appointments you might have. If any of the crew has important business to discuss, I'll make sure you know.
Isn't that the type of task better suited for a VI?
Yes, but being your yeoman is just my official role. Unofficially, I observe the crew. Everyone knows how risky our mission is. Many of us may not be coming back. That's a lot of pressure. I have a degree in psychology. I'm good at sensing when people are overly taxed.
You make sure the crew's mental health is sound.
Yes, I look for warning signs. I listen. It's not a full-time job, and it's most effective when done informally.
So I've got something to say about that, from first-hand experience, as a matter of fact. The military, when they deploy large-scale units, there are mental health providers that are military officers which are deployed within the units. And they're usually stationed on large facilities that have the vast majority of the unit that they are assigned to, and has heavy defenses because they're not combatants. They're non-combatants. So, but the problem is, because that's a great concept, right? Like, have some people there, professionals that are trained to be able to assist with the mental well-being of your troops. That's important. And it's a cool concept. Except, they don't care who it is, and that's the problem. And they also get really screwed up orders, which is another problem. So the first issue is that if you're dealing with people who are going through traumatic, violent events and losses, don't have them be like a child psychologist doing that job. Believe it or not, I was in a tier 3 unit. We went to Afghanistan on my second deployment. I already had a standing diagnosis at that point of post-traumatic stress disorder. I deployed for my second tour, and the doctor that the unit had brought with them had a degree in child psychology, and turned around and told every single soldier that had been diagnosed with PTSD, had been receiving treatment and therapy and medications for their PTSD, that none of them had PTSD. That was just part of being a soldier, which part of that statement's true, yeah. Part of being a soldier is you have the high possibility of being mentally traumatized. But to turn around and tell them because they're soldiers they don't have problems, that's wrong. And then the other thing is those same doctors, because like we had a PA, a physician's assistant, which is usually the highest medical officer that soldiers get to see, that was ordered by the unit in 3rd Infantry Division to make sure that enough soldiers were combat effective that the unit could deploy. And they were told not to allow diagnoses that would sideline troops. There were guys going in with shin splints, broken backs, fractures throughout their bones from training and doing the job, right? And they were ordered to tell us, every soldier that went in for injury, tell them, you just have short hamstrings and that's why you have problems. So if you had problems with your knees, your back, your legs, your torso, your chest, your shoulders, any of that, it was because you had short hamstrings. And that was because that was what they were ordered to do. They were ordered not to treat. They were ordered to give that diagnosis so that the soldiers could remain combat effective on paper so that the unit could deploy. That's the type of shit the military pulls with their medical providers. They provide them. It's a cool concept. It's great on paper, except for when you're actually dealing with them and you realize that they're not actually here to help you. They're here to make sure on paper it looks like they're doing the right thing, but keeping the unit combat effective and ready, regardless of how that treatment affects the soldiers and their overall health and well-being. It's really shitty.